Crystal from Crystal Clear ESL. I'm really excited to be here this evening in the UK if you're over on this side of the pond, or afternoon elsewhere, with, oh my gosh, the list is so long. So he is an ESL teacher like us, a university lecturer, a podcaster on ESL Talk, and a content developer or curriculum designer. Without further ado, welcome Daniel Shaw of I Am Daniel Teacher.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for the wonderful welcome. Wow, you're too kind.
You're welcome.
Kind.
You're a man of many skills.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just really excited to be able to share with everyone the new course that we've been working on together and developed and is ready to go. So we'll get into that in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, for sure. So Daniel is already known to Crystal Clear ESL for having created the course IELTS Made Simple, which is aimed at university entrance exam preparation. And so he's adding to his list or bag of tricks with this brand new course, which is already launched and available at Crystal Clear ESL, called Speak Like a Native. So Speak Like a Native is now up and ready. Where did your inspiration come from with this course, Daniel?
So I've obviously, like many of us, been teaching online for a long time, and a lot of my students, we find that reading articles is a really nice foundation for speaking, for building conversation, building skills, writing as well. So even though this is primarily speaking, it does incorporate all of the other skills as well. And not only that, the content's presented in a very simple, structured way, and hopefully it's visually quite appealing as well. So it's really enjoyable for the student, but also should be quite easy and straightforward for you to teach as well.
Right. Okay. Awesome. I love that it's multi-skilled, but that it has that speaking focus, because don't you think that that is what the students are really looking for once they reach like a certain threshold in proficiency?
Yeah, I would say so. I think we can really, we can go over a lot of the same ground as teachers, but something like this will help push them to the next level. And if they're at a much higher level, then we can facilitate that through this course. But if they just need to slowly adjust and maybe they're around the B1 level to start, then again, there's something in here that can be tweaked and can be tailored to suit your students.
So the course is suitable from B1 proficiency on the CEFR.
Yes.
But can be scalable up until what, C1, C2 even?
Yeah, I would say so. Even I'm pretty sure if we went through the material together for a class, Crystal, we'd get a lot out of it. So I think it is really applicable, and there's a lot of flexibility with it, which we'll go into once we start sharing a little bit about the course. So shall we get into it?
Yeah. So Daniel, awesome. I'll just give him a second to bring up his screen share. He's going to walk us through a lesson or two so that you know exactly what's involved, how it's laid out, and what to expect with it. Patricia just asked as well, what is the age range, Daniel?
That's a great question.
But what's the age range?
So I've tried this with teens, 15, 16, because there's a really wide range of topics, which I'll get into, all the way up to adults. So there definitely is a really good blend of topics, different blend of subjects. So there is something in there that's going to appeal to most learners. And the beauty is with 20, you can try maybe the best 10, the best 15, but I'm pretty sure that all of them have some very interesting elements that you can get into and really start to do a deep dive into as well. So from teens all the way up to adults, I would say it's best suited to.
Cool. Yes. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and
are you able to see the screen? There we go. Wonderful.
There we go.
So as you can see, it is here. So hopefully once you log in and you start the subscription, you'll be able to see the lessons here. And as I mentioned, 20 step-by-step interactive lessons starting at B1 plus on the CEFR. And the beauty is all the activities, teaching notes, answer keys, and homework tasks are included. So If you
Say
just
that
go,
again for the people in the back. What is included?
yes, teaching notes, answer keys, and homework tasks included. It's truly off the shelf. So yes,
Wow. So very
this
little
is
preparation or
yes.
research needed then.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really nice that you can just click into it and get started. And, you might just need a minute or two just to kind of get a feel for it. But I've made sure that it's as simple as possible for anyone using it. So, as you can see here, we do have the 20 lessons, and they have an extremely diverse range in terms of their topics, starting
Nice.
with
How did
things
you
like
choose topics?
that's a good question. What I did is I kind of looked at what I'd taught over the last 3 or 4 years, and I thought, what is the, what were the hits? What were the ones that stood out? So I've kind of gone through the time and the process to take out what didn't work so well and just kind of really concentrate on what were the best 20 or the top 20 maybe. So you have that range. As you can see, we have things about the environment, we have things about communication, psychology, personality, freelancing in the world of work, things about technology and hacking, health, privacy, culture, and again, lots of really topical and relevant things as well. So it'll be
Right.
quite up to date because there's nothing worse than doing an article that's 5 or 6 years old. So
Yes.
yeah, these are more up to date. So let me
Fun.
show you what a lesson might look like. Sorry, did you want to add something, Crystal?
No, I was just commenting on all those fun topics and
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
subject
So
matter.
if we, for example, just get started at the beginning, you'll see here that the homework is here. So let's imagine before or after, probably after in this case, because it's the first lesson, you want to set some homework. Here we've provided for you a number of different options. So if you need some extra ideas above and beyond what's in the actual content, then there's some different activities, some different things you can do to ensure that you can add more homework and you can tweak it for your learners depending on their level and depending on how things work. So
Wow.
that's the first tool at your disposal, which is up here, the course homework. And then as you can see, once we get into it, you'll see the learning outcomes here. Now, on each slide, you will see this little key icon, and this is kind of your cheat sheet or your reference, so you know exactly what's going on in the slide. So if you feel like, are there more answers, or is there something else that I can do, or did I cover everything? Then you can just use this tool up here. So each class starts with the learning outcomes, and these are tweaked slightly depending on the topic, but generally they focus on things like structure and language, vocabulary, and then a writing reflection at the end. But again, there's lots of options with that. You can extend it and develop it as you see fit. And as we get into the lesson, so for example, the first one here, we can see already it's nice and visual. And what will hopefully be the case is that you'll see there's a key here for the article. So the students should read the article or familiarize themselves with the article before the class, because this article is the foundation for the activities and for the questions in the class. So it's really nice. It's just embedded in here. Give it a click. And if you just click the hyperlink within the
Copy
key,
that over to the student.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
just stylistically as well, I noticed that the learning objectives are on the first slide, which
yes.
makes it really easy for teachers to choose a lesson at a glance, but it also gives them the choice to as to whether they want to start a lesson by introducing the objectives or leave those more out of view to the student and instead start on the welcome slide.
Yeah, I think it depends how focused you want to be. So if you really want to focus on these specific outcomes, they're there for you. But if not, you can just start on slide 2. And again, you can get started here instead if you wish. So once you get into the actual content, you'll see that all of the lessons start with this slide on the 5 W's. So why is one of the 5 W's, but why do we have this? Essentially, this is kind of your foundation for you to check where the student's at and how much they've understood. Because there are times where students perhaps don't actually read the whole article, or they don't get a full understanding, or maybe they misunderstand something. So this can be a nice temperature check for you. And well, Daniel, what are all the W's? I don't know what they are. Well, a quick click here and you'll
Yeah.
have them available for you.
Like, I can't be bothered to read the article myself. I'm a busy
Exactly.
teacher. So
Yeah.
can you please do all that work for me?
Exactly. So they are provided here. And the beauty is as well, if there's something different or there's something unique that's still valid, maybe that you find or the student finds, then if you're using a platform like Zoom, as most of us do, you can just actually type it in. So there are spaces next to or underneath each word. So there's this exists for the purpose of writing extra notes as well, which you can save and share with your student
Yeah, you
afterwards.
can save and then send them home with the student.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is kind of the initial part. This is kind of your warm up, your temperature check before you get into it. And then as you get into it, you'll see that there's approximately 15 discussion topics or questions based on the article. And they start off quite simple because obviously we want to ease the student in and we want to make sure that they're able to actually get started on this and, get responses. So again, we have prompts here that start off with a very basic prompt, and this could be quite a lot of things, so it's quite general to begin. But you'll see as we go into it in a little bit more detail, okay, now we're talking about a process. What happens is, so we're giving the student prompts and we're giving them ways that they can express themselves and structures they can follow to talk about this or anything else. So again, you give a quick click down here, you'll see the answers that may include this. There may be more, which might be perfectly fine, which you can also note down. But again, you can see these structures as we go through. So instead of just saying something one way, we might say it two ways. We might say it three ways. There's different options, and we're giving options to the student so that they could try both. Maybe they can try one. You could use this to maybe cover a pronunciation point or a grammar point, or maybe help them with new vocabulary as well. So there's lots of different things you can play with within these different question slides. Crystal, did you want to add something?
Not particularly at this point.
Okay.
I was just loving how you have the sentence prompts so that the students are sort of forced outside their usual vocabulary to lead into answers in a way that might be different than what they normally would.
Yeah, generally we really struggle when we just get the standard yes, no, I agree. Well, okay, how can we take that to the next level? So instead of just saying yes or I agree, let's expand that, let's develop it, let's rephrase it using these prompts, using these kind of structures to help us. And in terms of the skills, obviously these are speaking skills, but not just, opinions, it's more discussion based. How do we know this? We can get students' responses. We can start to elicit their understandings from their culture or from their education or from what they know. So we can actually add that in as well to add to the learning process. So again, for example, on this slide, how are things caused? Humans cause climate change by. So again, they could share a lot of their own thinking here. Some other examples would be, so they're giving details, examples, explanations. They're linking and connecting it to their own knowledge. So there's a real wide range here of things that we can do and we can cover. And as I just mentioned, 3 other options. Maybe if it's a more basic response, we can start off at the top and then we can get more advanced as we go down. And maybe as a teacher, you can model that for your students if it's difficult, or you can show them how it might sound or how the sentence might be. And again, just go to the key if you're in doubt, and we can have some answers here. And there's lots of different things that you can actually follow within that. So those are some points here. And then again, listing connectives, joining together ideas.
Yes, and this links back to your IELTS Made Simple course.
Exactly.
Because these connectives are so important.
Yes, exactly. So you'll find that this can be a really nice complement. If students are taking IELTS, you'll find that this can be a really nice complement to go alongside it, because it does work on those skills of describing, explaining, discussing, having, debates. We can get that in there as well. And the topics, like I said, they start off quite general and then they get very, very specific, and they can be quite detailed as well as we get towards the end. So there's a lot of play with this. In terms of the time, Crystal, generally these classes will run for around 45 minutes. So in the trials that I've done with them, Around 45 minutes is a great amount of time. You'll start off with a quick 5 Ws and also homework if that's been done, which we'll talk about in a moment. You get into the questions, taking notes, eliciting, checking, sharing, which I think is a wonderful part here. If it's a one-on-one, I can share, well, in my country, this is what we do. How about for you in your country? What do you do? How does it work in this place compared to this place? So we
All
can get
right.
into
So
those
would
elements.
these lessons also be suitable within groups then?
Absolutely, yeah. I have trialed this with some groups, groups of 3, and I found in those groups it was actually really nice because it took the onus off me as a teacher, and it was more on the students. So I'd ask the students collectively, "Would you?" And we're going to have disagreements. Great, you disagree. Why do you disagree, Crystal? And then we can expand it,
Yes.
and we can go back
Yeah.
and forth, and we can switch sides. Well, Crystal, you disagree, but what if you agreed? How would you deal with it then? So there's a lot of
Good. A
options.
bit of challenge, a bit of stretch to look at
Yes,
something from outside their usual perspective.
exactly. And what I love is it's like I said, it's laid out very simply. It's very visual. It's very easy to follow as a teacher and hopefully as a student. And then again, yes, I do. Okay, why? No, I don't. Why? We can go into that more as well. And then as we get towards the end, you'll see. Again, I'll just flick through these. We have a wrap up. So at the end, it's actually really nice to reflect and give feedback. Again, time is always against us when we're teaching, but by giving students feedback on some of the structures and maybe taking down notes in the slides as we go, that can be a really powerful way to show the students what they've done well. And then we can also link it back to the learning objectives at the beginning. So have they achieved this, or how well have they achieved this? And then we can use that to then progress and connect to the next lesson. So
Right.
yeah,
You could also use it as an impetus to provide suggestions for improvement for next time, or
exactly.
stretch
Yeah,
like
that's
this.
a great point, Crystal. Yeah, I really think that's important. So as you'll see, they do follow the structure. And again, if you feel like, you know what, this article, how to give a good presentation, maybe my 15-year-old student doesn't need this, then that's fine. Again, you can just find the lessons that work well for you. But what you will find in this slide is you'll find again the link when you click it. You'll just find the direct link to the article. So it's already there
Right.
for you. You can preview it with the student if you have time. You can go over, I'll just go back to full screen. You can preview the article with the student and just, help them see where it is and maybe just get a very basic outline of what they need to look for within that. And then as I mentioned,
Right.
there is a homework reflection task here. So for example, here is saving the environment the biggest challenge facing humanity, or is it something else? So it's a discussion, it's a reflection. They need to take all that they've done and talked about in this lesson, and they
Yeah.
need to then process and develop it. But if this is too much, then we have alternatives, we have other options, which are here in the course homework tab at the
Right.
top.
And then it's, less high order skills, such as summarizing, for example.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And additionally, there is always a blank slide at the end of every class. Why? Maybe you have some notes. Maybe you want to explain a grammar point, maybe explain some vocabulary that might have been tricky. Maybe you actually want to model some responses or some answers for students. And maybe you want to give them some frames for writing. How would they discuss something? How could they do that? So you have lots of opportunities to do that within the slide here. So we've tried to make it as simple as possible, and we've tried to give you as much as you need to be successful and just get started with it right away.
Perfect. Wow. Thanks for that. I know that a lot of speaking clients are interested in hour-long lessons. So
Yes,
you said that these generally fall well within 45 minutes. What would
correct.
you suggest teachers do to extend these lessons into an hour?
Yeah, that's a great point. When I say the 45 minutes, I mean just starting with the outcomes, the 5 Ws, and the questions. So this doesn't
Okay.
include a homework feedback. So if you only have those 45 minutes, then you might need to do that outside of the class. But
Right.
within that, you can start. So with the homework check, so this is a great point, Crystal, and you've actually led me to the next class, which I'll just show you here. There is a part in here, which I'll just go to for you, just for the benefit. So here we go. There is a homework check slide in here. So
Okay.
if you want to, you can actually just quickly share the student's response. So you can just screenshot it and add it in, or you can just cover it over, and you can go over that homework with the student and just say, okay, let's look at your homework. Let's go through it. Let's connect it. Wonderful. So you have this opportunity in here to check that. Within. And then if you do find you have some extra time at the end with the homework, so let's, for example, look at this class. And the beauty here, if you go to the window mode here, we can just get all the slides up in front of us. So if I go down to the final slide here, what do you feel are the 2 to 3 most important elements of giving a presentation? How can they help you? So with this task, for example, we might feel like, okay, the student generally will feel, I'm not sure, I don't know. So you can use this extra time, if you have it at the end, to work with them. All right, so you talked about this, you said this, Crystal, you mentioned these points in slide 3. So why don't we, on our notes slide, why don't we start to maybe make an outline or a plan for the homework so that you know exactly what to do next? So
yeah,
that
they'll
could be
probably
another
need
way.
that guidance starting out, but then as they develop their skills. I also sort of think if there's about 15 question slides per lesson, that's, if my math is correct, that is about 3 minutes per slide, which seems very pacey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even get through all of the questions. It just, like I said, it just depends on your student, but at least there's that flexibility of, if you have a super keen, super high ability student, you have those extra options and you have that flexibility. But
you could even split the lesson.
Exactly. There's even that possibility. If you do 30-minute classes, you could start and then again continue it for the second time or the second class. So that's another great option as well. Lots of flexibility here.
Awesome.
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I'm really excited
pleasure.
to have this as an addition to the site. It is live. You can find it under the subscription button or in the materials. And a special note as well that it is combined. You can have it separately or combined with Daniel's IELTS Made Simple course for a really great discounted price as well. So please do take a look and don't forget to reach out if you have any questions about it. Is there a free trial available for these courses, Daniel?
Is that a rhetorical question?
It is. I know.
There is a 2-week trial for you to take a look and enjoy it and see what you think and obviously see if it works for you. I'm sure it will. So yeah, there's a 2-week trial. So nothing to lose. Just to take a look and see what you think for yourselves.
Great.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Okay. Well, thank you for tonight or today. And we will see everybody again soon.
We will. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.